Hello, hello. How are you? I am Divine Celiane. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Transformational Tantra. I'm so glad to be here with you. I am so glad to see you. And if you are new, welcome in. Now, I cannot see everyone that comes in here. I don't always get a message. So from time to time, you'll hear me welcoming people in. Sometimes I see some folks, sometimes I don't. Welcome everyone. All right, y'all. I want to talk to you because this was actually a channeled message. I did pull my Divine Abundance cards, but this was a very distinct message for the universal community. So the card that came out was Sanctity. The very first one. We've had this card before. But the reason why this card is so important for the channeling is because it is asking you to understand that the most mundane things and the things that we find and feel that are not important are actually for our utmost development and the sacrament of ourselves, of our higher self. Okay? Every experience on your journey is sacred. Every experience on your journey is sacred. Okay? Because every experience leads to something. Leads to something else. And the cards actually split in two different ways, believe it or not. So after Sanctity was Surrender. We're gonna talk about this one because there is a middle card. So chapter 4 of my program that we're looking at for quantum change is actually quantum forgiveness. And this is kind of a precursor to it without me meaning for it to be. Because the channel message that is coming in for y'all is, even if you don't know, you're held accountable and responsible. So that's the reason why I said the channel message is about accountability. A lot of times when we do things, right, break a law, sometimes we go somewhere new and we don't know. There's a law for something that we shouldn't do, and we say we don't know. And you don't get off the hook because you don't know. It is the exact same for the spirit realm. So there's information everywhere available to everyone. And there's a lot. I understand. But you will still be held accountable to the rules of this game, whether or not you know them. That's something I need you to know. You will be held accountable for the rules of this game, whether or not you know them. You will be held accountable for what is written, what is said, what is known and not known, seen and unseen. You will be held accountable. Why? Because it is in existence, whether or not you know. Remember, there was a talk I gave about your intuition. And your intuition is the point of whether you're knowing. Your intuition, your solar plexus, right? That's your intuition house. And your heart and your third eye. And I told you those have to be in alignment, right? And you have to feel everything through that. And I told you that in that book that has been raped, so many books have been taken out. I thought it was only 450. It's been way more than that. So then that made me think, how big is the Bible really, right? And I'm like, but we don't have all the information. But it exists somewhere. There are versions of it. It is out there. You have to find it. I still will be held accountable for what I haven't seen. Because that's how this plane works. Right? So I was like, what? What do you mean? Whether you forget something or not, don't matter. If it existed, you're still held accountable for it. So, that is why your journey is sacred. Whatever you do, it's sacred. Whatever you do. Let me explain, my loves. Okay, so as we get older, we pay attention to our temples. And our temples have needs. And those temples are supposed to have needs. And we are supposed to fill those needs in the highest aspect of our own good. Right? What does that mean, Divine? That means when we get urges and desires, we don't just go and find the closest person to go and release it with. There are consequences to that. And I'm not talking about going to hell. No, forget that. I'm talking about there's energy connections. There's communication of the body that you may not be able to have access to anymore, but you still have the desire. There is that bond with that person that you just copulated with, and you may not even want to be with that person, but you wanted to satisfy a desire, or you have emotion. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot that's involved with that. That's why you don't do it. For some people, it's good enough to know, well, you sin, so you don't do it. I understand that you need sin to be able to get to doing better, so you know what better even is. You can't sit up and give a talk, and this goes all through me. You can't sit up and give a talk on drug use, and you've never been a drug user. How the hell are you going to teach me of how bad it can get if you're not the one who sat up there and used them and went there? How can you teach me how to fail if you never failed? You can only speculate. You ain't been there. You can't tell me. So if you never walked anywhere in your shadow, you have no clue, no idea what it means to even walk through your shadow, fight with your shadow, show your shadow I can be better, we can be better to be here. Don't talk to me if you ain't been through it. You don't know. You can speculate, but you don't know. You know from your perspective of what you've been through. I need to know from someone who's been in the gritty. You understand what I'm saying? For me to hear those stories. Okay? So that's why it's sacred. That's why there is a sanctity to your thoughts, your movements, your speech, and what you do for that reason. Okay? Because it teaches you something in every moment. And the surrendering to that. Now, this is where we get caught up. Hence the channel message. So let me explain. This is where we get caught up. We go through experiences and we like, oh, okay, Spirit, you don't care about me. You gonna let me walk through this. You gonna let me hurt like that. Okay, that's how it is. That's how it's gonna be. Forget you. You don't love me. Been there, done that. Been there and done that, right? So we go there. And then we talk about that's not surrendering. And then when we get defeated into surrender. And like, I can't do it. I'm going to have to come to you anyway. And then you're resentful because you have to go to something outside of you. And you didn't appreciate the lesson. You didn't appreciate being told what to do. Been there, done that. And so you get it the hard way. And you're like, man, sorry, y'all. Bother me in there. And you're like, man, okay. Can you forgive me? Then you get guilt. And then, hey, Vic, you get guilt. And then you get down and you feeling defeated because you had to go something outside of you in the first place. When that's how it's set up for you. Okay? Or your middle path. But you gotta have the sanctity of your middle path to understand this is what I'm walking. There's no blame. You understand what I'm saying? Surrender to your path. Surrender to your contract. We all made one. Based on stuff we did in past lives, we needed to fix, so on and so forth. Whatever it is. Surrender to the sacredness of what you're walking. There's a reason why you're walking it. There is a reason why you have to walk this journey this way. One of my favorite readers I saw today said something so beautiful, and it was so poignant with what I recorded 2 days ago. When we're in a cage, we don't always see who put us there. Sometimes some of us are just born into one, and we don't know who put it there, right? And then the enemy will come along, excuse me, and that enemy will be like, oh, they're in the cage, let's mess with them. And they'll be messing with you, right? And then they'll be thinking, well, someone put you here, so this is where you belong, so we're going to mess with you. Until that cage is unlocked, and then they don't know who unlocked it. And then they're like, well, who unlocked, what? And so the ones who's the cage bird, like us, Some of us will sit there and let it pretend to be locked, and then we'll bite your head off in love. Or we'll open the cage and fly, and by the next time our enemies come back, we're gone. Right? It really just depends. Depends on what we want to do. Well, that action of that enemy finding out, we're responsible for that. So some of us do it in payback, right? And then the karma loop keeps going. Some of us do it in, we're going to leave you alone. We're going to go on and we're going to fly. And we stay in our divine status and we go because we ain't got time to be dealing with you and revenge and stuff like that. See, in every moment, there is a right action. There is actually a right action. There actually is. Okay. Many may not think so, but there actually is. And let me explain. Okay. How you respond, right action. That's where quantum forgiveness comes in. And I'm not going to talk about quantum forgiveness, but this is leading to class 4. The forgiveness piece is your right action. I said it before. It's not for them. It's for you. How you respond. And let me explain. When they do something to you, their action to you is their accountability. But your response back, your action to them in response or before or after, you are accountable for. Whether or not you knew all the details, whether or not you're aware, whether or not you're aware of what happened if you do something back to them, you are accountable. That's why I get so upset when people try to skirt accountability. Because in life, that is the number one thing you are accountable for, your life. Whether or not you know the rules, you are accountable. You will be held accountable. You understand? So that's why your actions have to be right. They have to be accounted for. That's karma. Good karma, bad karma, still karma. So if someone causes you pain, how are you going to respond? How you respond is your accountability. Are you going to make yourself divine or are you going to make yourself karmic? And then say you make yourself karmic and you're like, how's that fair? They did this to me and I responded back. How is that fair? How is it that I can't respond back? Because you know better. You're accountable. Especially if you were taught better and you were told that you don't get revenge, that you don't get vengeance, that you just get up, forgive, and walk away. If you have even heard those words anywhere, that's what you are supposed to do. You are accountable. Now, you may look at me and say, Divine, that is not fair. Baby, who said this was set up to be fair? How many times did I get laughed at when I would say that? I wait. Who said it was to be fair? This game is not set up to be fair. It's a game. No, my loves. If you heard it one time, if it's anywhere where you can pick it up, you're accountable. That's what a lot of people don't know. Is you're accountable to the rules you can't even see. Why? Because you're here. That's why. You're accountable. So, if you know what the right action is, because you can have time to sit up and calculate it and figure it out. So if you know what that right action is and you choose not to take it, baby, you're accountable. You get punished. Get your karma. Especially if you know. Well, Divine, I wasn't really thinking, but your intuition, your solar plexus knew. If there's any part of you that knows, here, heart, any part of you that knows, you're accountable. Now, here's where it's tough. This is what kind of disturbed me a little bit that came out. After right action, and this has never happened, I got grief and loss. Now, I told you, Revelations is in the process. There's going to be a lot of loss and a lot of grief. A lot of things are changing where countries do not want the US dollar ruling things. Some of these things you guys know, some of these things you don't know. Our currency is in the process of trying to be erased. You have people, males and females, fighting against each other. Who's right, who's wrong. You have one side saying women shouldn't even have rights in the first place. Look at what happened, making generalizations that are stupid as hell. You have the other side that sit up and saying that, you know, the feminism thing and stuff like that, instead of just seeing that there needs to be a fucking balance between the two. What you're seeing is male-dominated shit, and it just needs to be balanced out with feminine energy. That's all you need to do. They just need to move the fuck up the way and let us balance it out. That's all we got to do. It's a balancing act. Everything is a fucking balancing act. Okay? When things, forgive how this is about to sound, but when things get too ignorant, you need more intelligence. Duh. So, it's not rocket science. I keep telling y'all it's not fucking rocket science. So, you're seeing and you're going to see grief and loss. You're going to experience grief and loss. You're going to feel it. It's going to hit you. Even if it's across the world and it's a war, it's going to hit you. Even if our dollar does collapse, it's going to hit you. Things are going to happen that is going to hit everyone. People that you set up and said that were crazy, you're going to find out they weren't. Things that you thought that would never exist in a million years, you will find does. Things and beings that you think that should not be here, you will be right. However, they have access to the plane, and you have all these damn people creating gateways and calling these damn gateways in to let these things in. All this stuff. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Everything is possible. Everything is allowable. Why? Because a human brain and other beings can come up and think of anything. And if you can think of anything, it is possible to be created. That is how powerful you are. Infinite possibilities. Whatever you think is for you can come true for you. That's why your timelines belong to you. So, my loves, your right action is so important, especially in the time of grieving and losing. How many times, and I have not been in this situation, so I'm going to preface this to say it's easier for me to say it until it happens. But how many times have you seen people in a courtroom that have killed someone and that other family has wished them death versus those that have said, I forgive you? And do you understand that they said, I forgive you for their healing? Because the more you hold on to it, the more pain you have, not the other person. They're going to go through their own guilt and their own hell. They already are. But see, you have to surrender to the sanctity of your journey. First of all, you have to even see that your journey on this plane is sacred in the first fucking place. Okay? Even if you ain't surrendering to it, you have to see it's sacred in the first place. But the way we all handle grief and loss is very different. We have some of us shut down. Some of us try to go out and hurt every damn body. Some of us try to blow up this whole damn thing and don't give two shits. Some of us go out and hurt other people and don't care. That is not right action. That won't even make you feel better if you go and get that revenge. What is it going to do? How long is it going to last? So grief and loss. During revelation time, and you're going to see it now, you're going to see a lot. That is a part of life. If you walk around in what you're afraid of, life is going to throw in your face what you're afraid of. If you focus on avoiding that which you're afraid of, it is going to bring it to you to make you fix it anyway. And it may not be in the time you're ready to fix it. A lot of times we try to figure out why the hell these little ass annoying things happen. That's why. Because it is annoying. And it gets on our nerves. And we feel like we're at the point that we're going to break or we're going to go off. And it'll be like, oh, you are? Boop. And you be like, for real? I told you. I know you did. Why you tell me? That's why I did it. Boop. Life does that. Life does that. And whatever we're afraid of, I know this from experience, whatever we're afraid to lose, life will make us lose it on purpose to see how we respond and what we do. But if you understand, that's how spirits are. That's how source is. Nothing personal, just business. For some spirit, it is personal. But that's just how it is. Then we ask why. Why would it do that? Maybe so you can be a better version of yourself and stronger. So then when you return to source, you understand how great you are. But you won't know that if you're still sitting in your shortcomings and you never heal your shortcomings. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Life is going to bring you the lessons to raise up what you're weak at. Because source doesn't need you to return to it weak. It needs you to return to it in the strength that you have, that you're born with, that you learned. It needs everything that you learned. It needs to know. It needs to know, how strong are you really? Can I send you to the next, or do I have to send you back where you were? See, this funny thing is that a lot of people think that when we pass on, we're done. We're never done. We're never done. There's always another level until that highest one. And even then, when we get there, then we have a bigger job. Our powers, our energy suits the job we're meant to do. It is an equal match. Okay? So when you're afraid, and you don't want that loss, and you don't want that grief, it is going to slap it on you anyway and say, I need you to heal that. When you're healing as an adult, and you will notice you going back to that inner child pain, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't ask for this pain. And source is going to say, or spirit is going to tell you, because not the same, but spirit's going to tell you, I need you to fix that. Source needs you to fix that. We need you to heal that. Because at some point, your time is going to be up, and we need you to be as pristine as you were when you came in here. Now, some people say, what do you mean pristine? You were born with sin. What the fuck did you do by just taking breath? Do you even know what sin means? It just means without. Without the knowledge you need to have so you're not making stupid ass mistakes. It's not rocket science. Sit up and look at your life and see what sin is for you. I know what the book says it is. But sin means without. Without what? The knowledge to move forward to my highest self. Children remember until the age of 7 or 8, or until we make them forget, because them remembering is embarrassing for us, because that's not what we follow and walk. Where the fuck you think they got it from? The very spirit that you pray to and that you say you love, that's where they got it from. So why are you shitting on kids for having the knowledge that they had? That makes no sense. Does it? No. It is not about your shame, how it looks, and so on and so forth. That's just like these stupid ass parents who get mad, whose kids have special needs. And then they're like, well, that's an affront on me. Where the fuck you think they got the genes from? And then you gonna sit up here and act like they're an embarrassment to you? You fucking had them. It's not an embarrassment to you. Help them get better or help them manage it. It ain't got nothing to do with the fucking parent. Just like us, right? Spirit sends us down to experience life. We sign a contract. We come down to fulfill that contract, but we forget. So we have to go through the experiences to remember what our contract is, what our path is, and how we're supposed to be treating everyone else and each other. Only to find out we get back to our higher self that we were before we came down, so we can go back to where we were, to learn the lessons we needed to learn to fix what we didn't fix in the past life and what we need to fix now to be able to return back to source, and to learn love and to understand that we are all connected and love is a part of all of us. And so we learn that to be able to help each other get back to source in the first place. Who's walking it, us or the parent? Us. I don't hear my parents saying, "You're ashamed to me. How could you? How did this happen?" I don't hear spirit saying that to me. In fact, what I hear spirit and source saying to me is, "Yeah, I did that to you. I needed you to learn something. You have a contract. I need you to do your job. Yeah, I did it to you. Can you do your job with what I gave you?" That's what I hear. I don't hear shame from my parent. So why are you giving shame to your children when they're born here, knowing what they need to know and being where they are at the time that they are? You weren't born during their time, parents. So you weren't born with some of the capabilities because you didn't need it. They're born in the AI time. Actually, they were born before the AI time, but they were born in a better technology time than we were. They had, their souls and spirits had to adapt to that. They know what you don't know, and you know what they don't know. You know the older, they know the newer. It is to work together. That's what parents and children are supposed to do. They're supposed to be able to work together because they have knowledge we don't have, and we have knowledge they don't have yet. That's how it's supposed to work. That's what spirit shows us all the time. So why the fucking parents ain't doing it? It's not fucking hard, people. It's not. Love yourself as you love your neighbor in spirit. Because in love, you will do all of this. That's why. In love, you will do all of this. It will be a no-brainer. What did I say before? You won't disrespect yourself or anyone else because, one, you don't want that karma coming back to you. You don't want that headache, but you don't need someone else disrespecting you either, and you won't take it. So if you won't take it, why do it to someone else? Right? If you want that perfect mate that you want, right, then you're going to act right to deserve that mate that you feel you deserve. Why the fuck would someone come in and you take someone less than what it is that you feel you deserve, but you're not going to give back to them anything? So in other words, let me explain. Okay. Say, for example, there is someone you have in your mind that you want, and you don't have anything to offer but love. That is up to them to accept it or not, right? But if you have something you can offer, great. It should be equal in kind. But I'll be damned if you're going to be somebody that is asking for the moon, sun, and moon and stars, and all you can give is a goddamn hoopty. You can't even give any of the cosmos. You got to give something on the earthly plane in exchange. You better get your ass on. That's not an equal exchange. We get equal exchange for our parent. We really do. You got to look at it in terms of you're the one doing the work. What have you done to make your job harder or easier? What has other people done to make your job harder or easier? Okay. Did you forgive them and walk on so you can continue your job? Or did you sit down and stay for years angry at the same motherfucker that you let keep you back because you were angry and wouldn't forgive? How many years did you waste? How much time did you waste being angry at someone else instead of taking the right action and just fucking forgiving and leaving it alone? That's why you forgive. You don't have time to sit up and be angry. You don't have time because you got a job to do. We all do. And instead of sitting up and paying attention to the motherfuckers that don't want to change, we don't have time for that. Let their asses go on. You are accountable for your right action. You did? How you respond. How you respond is on you. You are accountable for everything you do, have done. That includes past lives. You're accountable. My loves, And whether or not you know the rules to the game, you are accountable. You're accountable. So, you're going to have to learn how to move with and through grief and loss without losing who you are as a person. That, ladies and gentlemen, that right there is why you gotta love. I'm gonna say this again. It is about how you're able to move through life without losing you and who you really are. It is about how much you can take and keep getting back up and still do your job. And those of us that have been bloodied and laid out on that ground and still getting up swinging, each time angrier and angrier, but not angry in the aspect of just being angry. Angry with a focus, like in martial arts. Focused anger, focused determination, focused purpose, focused love. The intention and the reason behind it to keep going. If any of you do cards and you keep seeing that strength card come out, this is why you keep seeing it come out. It's telling you, it's calling for that at this time because of what we're about to experience and see. My loves, I'm going to leave you with this. You have a lot of people out there who are hurting folks and want power, and they don't care who they use, who dies, who starves. They don't care, including your government. They don't care. A lot of people don't care. We little folk have to care when the big folk don't care, because it's going to be we little folk who is taking care of each other, and we'll have to replace the big folk because they don't care and we don't trust them. The problem is when the little folk start turning into the big folk because of what you're offered to turn on your own people. That's the problem. But my loves, we're going to be called into task to do our job. There's going to be a lot of people hurting all over the place. There's going to be people I can't give to you. I need my resources. I don't have time. And you're going to watch families die. It's going to get bad. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to get bad. They're going to make it get bad to serve their purpose. Whatever government they want, whatever currency they want, it don't matter. It's going to get bad. I'm giving you warning now. It's going to get bad. Get your actions. Prepare yourself. Prepare your spirit. What will you do when the shit hits the fan? You think you know Revelations because you read about it. You don't know. You don't know. I had a dream to see it. You don't want to see that shit. You don't want to see that shit. The portal's opening for monsters to come on through from these other realms. You don't want to see that shit. I saw what it looks like. You don't want to see that shit. You're not prepared. You have no clue what it looks like. None. Why do you think since you've been born, you have been walking on how to prepare your spirit for the tough jobs we have? We all have. And don't expect it to fall on one person just because you may be tired. Hell no. Everyone that has a contract to be here, you will be called on your contract to fulfill it. And you better fulfill it. Period. No one is left out. Not man, woman, child. Don't matter what you is. Everyone has a contract to fulfill. Everyone. Including the beings that are here, the gods left, whatever. Everyone has a contract to fulfill because you're here. Use right action. And you're going to have to think about what that is for you. Do you feed your family or do you let a family die? You're going to have to think of these tough questions. Do you let a child get beat up, or I could lose my life if I save them? Do you let a tech company, make a mom and pop tech company go under when you know that they're stealing from that mom and pop tech company, but your company told you you better not tell it or you're going to lose your job? How many of you, and this, I'm going to leave you with this question. How many of you are going to keep holding secrets that are destroying other people's lives for the sanctity of yours while you're watching them suffer? All for $1 that doesn't fucking exist in some power you never had in the first place. How long are you going to continue to let that last? Because the more you do, the more you know you're accountable. And that doesn't get erased. Not when it's on purpose. It doesn't get erased. And let me tell you something. Even if you're a part of the group and you didn't know, you're still accountable as being someone that destroyed someone else's life, because you're a part of the group. It's your group that you decided to collaborate with. That's how it works. It's not to be fair. It's not. It's not to be fair. But that's the only way to keep it even. You punish everyone. Because as y'all say, we're all born with sin. So you punish everyone. Oh, I understand. So, my loves, I'm going to leave you with that. And you think heavy and hard about what sacrifices you are willing to make and what sacrifices you're not. And you make sure that you can put up with the repercussions of your choices, because you are accountable. All right, my loves, I love you. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something today. Love you now.